Hey guys, it's Miss McClure. So I know that yesterday y'all worked on division and started remainders. So now that you kind of know what a remainder is, it's something that's left over. But I want to talk to you today about division problems. So division problems are probably one of the hardest word problems that you might face this year because when they ask you about or they ask you to solve a division problem, they can ask you three different ways. So we're going to look at the three different ways and what they could ask you in those division problems. So the first thing that they can ask you is just for the quotient. That means they just want the answer. Like if you split something up and they said, how many groups was he able to make? That's the quotient. That's the answer they want. Just what number was it able to divide by? The second thing they can do is they can ask you for the remainder. So if you ever see anything where it says like how many are left over, how many didn't get used, what was left. Left is usually a key word with remainder. So if you see anything with left or weren't used or something like that, that's a trigger for you to know that it's talking about the remainder. Now the third one is probably the most difficult of all the questions that they can ask, and it's an add one question. So a lot of times an example with an add one is they like to use the field trip example. And if I had been there in class, like we were going to actually like work this out, but you're just going to have to bear with me talking through it. So let's say we were going somewhere on a bus, and so let's think about this. We've got around 60 kids. Let's say that we can put 8 kids on a bus. How many buses would we need for all of this to go? Well, if we have 8 kids on the first bus, the second bus would have a total of 16. Then we'd have 24 kids total with the third bus, 32 with the fourth bus, 40, 48, 56. So here comes the issue now. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right now we have 7 buses. But if you remember, I said that we had 60 kids total in our classes. So this is an add one problem. Either we've got 4 kids getting left at the school and don't get to go, or we've got to add one more bus. So that bus isn't going to be filled. It's going to have the 4 kids on it that weren't on another bus. So we had to add one more bus in to make sure everybody could go. So that's kind of a way that they like to ask that in. So a key word for this one is all. How many buses do we need for all the kids to go? So those are some things to look at as we're going through these. So I'm going to work through some of these problems with you and talk about the different kinds and what's going on with these. So hopefully you've got your workbook with you right now and you can kind of go through this with me. But this question says, Ben is a tour guide at a glass blowing studio. He can take no more than 7 people on a tour at a time. 80 people want to see the glass blowing demonstration. How many groups of 7 will he be able to show around? So he can only take 7. No more than 7 can go. And there are 80 people signed up. So they've kind of set up the problem for you. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. They've set up this problem for you here. Oh, my paper keeps moving on me, sorry. Okay, so this is set up for you here. We've got the 80 people. We're splitting them into 7 groups. And they're saying that the closest amount we could get to 80 was if we multiplied by 11, which would get you 77. So that is the closest multiple. So 11's good. So like I said, 7 times 11 is going to get you 77. So we're going to have a remainder of 3 for 78, 79, 80. So here's what we're going to look at. This just wants the answer. The quotient is 11. We're going to have 11 groups of 7 people. And right now we've got a remainder of 3 people who aren't in a group of 7. So Ben can give tours to 7 people at a time. That's the number of groups of exactly 7 he can show around. And then he's going to give tours to 11 groups of 7. So if it asked how many groups he was able to give a tour to, it would be 11. So that just wanted the answer. Now, here's the add one and what it would look like. If Ben gives tours to all 80 people, how many tours will he give? A tour can be no more than 7, but to show all 80 people around, so if you remember right just a second ago, only 77 people were getting the tour, and we had 3 people who weren't going. So for him to give all of them a tour, he's going to have to give 12 tours, and that way he can get everybody in. Just that last group's going to have 3 people in it instead of the 7. Now, looking at this last part, Ben gives tours to all 80 people. After he completes the tours for the groups of 7, how many people would be in that last tour? That's your remainder. That's 3. So you just have to really look at the question and see what exactly it's asking of you. Because again, it could be the answer, it could be add one, it could be the remainder. So you've just really got to make sure and concentrate on what the question's asking. All right, so down here at the bottom one, we've got a soccer player and their coaches are driving to a soccer game in vans. Each van holds 9 people. How many vans are needed for 27 players and 4 coaches? So your first thought is, okay, how many people are going? We've got 27 players and 4 coaches. So that's 31 people total. So that means that we're going to take 31 people and we're dividing them into groups of 9 because each van holds 9 people. So here's where you have to start thinking about your facts. So on van 1, there's 9. Van 2 is going to give us a total of 18. Van 3 is going to give us a total of 27. Now, since we have 31, we've got 3 full vans because there's 9, 9, and 9 on those. How many people, or I guess let me ask you, are we going to need another van at this point if we only have 27 people going? Well, yes, because if you were on the team, obviously you'd want to go. You don't want to get left at home. This is kind of like the field trip problem from earlier. So, with 27 people filling up the vans, our last van needs to go. It's just not going to be full, okay? So what that means is we're going to have a remainder of 4 here because we've got the 4 people left from the 31. So what that means is since there are 4 people left over, that means that we need to make sure and take 4 vans. We've got van 1, van 2, van 3, and then we're going to have the fourth van carrying 4 people, which gets us all 31 going. All right, switching to page 320. So this is going to also give us another look at these. So as we're going through these, just work them in your book with me. So Jim has a puppet pattern that calls for 6 feet of fleece. He's got 50 feet of fleece. So 50 feet total. His pattern is 6 feet per puppet. If he makes the greatest number of puppets possible, how much fleece would he have left? So you've got to pick up on that target word in that question. Left. That means that we're looking for the remainder to this problem. So right now we've got 50 feet of fleece and we're splitting them into groups of 6 for the puppets. So your facts are going to come into play here. So multiples of 6, we've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, and then you would have 54. Well, 54 is too big because it's bigger than 50, which is our dividend. So that one's out. So the closest thing that we can do here to get to 50 is this 48. So we need to see how many times you multiplied here to get to that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, going back on what we did yesterday, since 6 times 8 was 48, that means we're going to have a remainder of 2 because it was 48. So what that means is he's going to be able to make 8 puppets, and he's going to have 2 feet left over that he can't do anything with. So that one would be A. The next one says, Deshaun wants to place 77 photos in an album. Each page of the album holds 9 photos. What is the least number of pages Deshaun will use so that all 77 photos are placed in the album? So again, this is where you've got to come and really look at your question. So what's the least number of pages Deshaun will need so that all 77 photos are placed in the album? I hope me reading that to you lets you pick up on that key word, all. All of the pictures have to go in. So there's a good possibility this is going to be an add 1 question with how this divides out. So you have 77 pictures and we're splitting them into 9 photos on a page. So you've got 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, and then 81. Well, 81's over the dividend. That's too big. So the closest thing we've got right now is 72. So that's going to take us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then what's going to happen now is we're going to have a remainder because we didn't have 77 on the list. So the difference between 77 and 72 is 5. So 8 remainder 5. So let's think about what that means. We've got our math. We just need to make sure we understand what's happening here. This means that 8 pages have 9 photos on them. But that only gave us 72 photos in the book. We have 5 pictures that aren't on a page yet. So if we're going back to the question and it's saying what's the number of pages he will need so that all of the pictures get in the book, well then it's going to have to be 9. We have to get an extra page in, and it's not going to have a full 9 photos. It's only going to have 5 because that was our remainder that was left out, but they're now all in the book. All right, let's look at this one. I'm actually going to skip this one right now. Oops, sorry. I'm going to skip this one for just a second and come back to it. Mr. Alia got good job badges, and he's going to give them to 74 students who helped at a school event. There are 8 badges in a package. How many packages will he have to open? So right now, he's got 74 kids who need a badge, and they come in packages of 8. So let's see what happens here. We've got 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, and 80. Okay, 80 is too much. That's past our dividend. So, gonna have to go with 72. That took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That took us 9 times to get there. But what happened now is, since this was 72 down here, we're going to have a remainder. So right now, he's got 9 packages, but that's only 72 badges, which means there are 2 kids right now who didn't get a badge. So how many packages is he going to have to actually open so that they all get a badge? Well, that's an add 1. He's going to have to open a 10th package because now all the kids could get a badge. He's just going to have some left over, which is fine, but that way everyone's involved and everyone got a badge. All right, back to this one. I skipped this one just because it was multi-step and kind of wanted to end with it. Okay, so Kathy has 10 tortillas and she wants to make mini pizzas. She has 43 pepperoni slices, and she's going to put 7 on each pizza. Now, with something like this, there's a lot going on that we haven't even gotten to yet. I'm just stopping right here. Let me kind of highlight this for you. Let's just start there. She's got 43 pepperoni slices, and she's going to use 7 of them on each pizza. So let's see how many pepperoni pizzas she can make. We have 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49. Well, we can get rid of this. 49 is too big. So our closest multiple is 42. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, of course, this wasn't 43, so we've got a remainder of 1 here. So she's able to make 6 pizzas with 7 slices of pepperoni. Now, she does have 1 little piece of pepperoni left over, but that's not important right now. It's not asking anything about what's left, so we're going to leave that alone. What's important is the 6 pepperoni pizzas. Okay, now you have to go back a little bit. She had 10 tortillas that she's using to make these many pizzas on. Okay, well, she's used 6 just now. So think about what that means. Because now she's going to start making cheese pizzas. So if she's used 6 of these tortillas for her pepperoni pizzas, how many is she going to have for cheese? Well, if she had 10 and she used 6, that means she's got 4. So you may see some stuff like this too, where it is a 2-step problem and not just the quotient, remainder, add 1. This was a quotient problem because it wanted just the quotient, and then it was a subtraction problem. So that may come up too. I hope that helped. You are going to go and work on just 1 single page in class kick on this. So just make sure and try to pay attention to if it's asking for just the answer, what's left over, the remainder, or an add 1. And same as yesterday, I'm going to be on class kick while y'all are on checking your work. I was so impressed yesterday. I think just about everybody had a really good grasp on that. Our concepts of remainder, so I was very pleased. I'm glad that I got to talk to some of you while we were working on the page together. If you get stuck on something on class kick, in the top right hand corner there's a little hand button. You can click it green for me to check all of your work, or it gives you an option to take yellow if you get stuck, and that'll alert me a little bit faster than me scrolling through 20 people's class kicks. Like, I'll see that you're having an issue. Other than that, I miss you guys, and I will be with you on class kick later. Have a good day.